Hello Flosstube, this is Cyndy Young and I am Luhu Stitches and welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is actually take two of my entire Flosstube adventure for today. Got the whole thing done. My son came over and he says, hey mom, you know I've got editing software, I could do this for you. I'm like, great. You know, next time I should use a microphone. He says, yeah, I've got one of those. And then we sat down to kind of look at what I was doing and realized I had been recording without sound for 45 minutes. So I get to start over. I have a microphone, so hopefully you can hear me a lot more clearly. This has been an adventure in trying to get a good quality Flosstube video done on a non-Apple product. I was really happy with my Mac, but as some of you remember, it had a catastrophic disk failure right at Christmas time, and I moved over to a PC laptop, a Lenovo Yoga, and I really like it. It just doesn't have the camera quality and the sound quality that the Apple Mac did, MacBook Pro did. So I also, in addition to now having a microphone to use, thank you, Isaac, my son, I have a special ring light that does RGB light. So I have, hopefully, that's making the photo less kind of soft looking, which is great, you know, for a middle-aged woman. The soft focus is good, but when you're trying to show cross-stitch projects, maybe not so much. So anyway, the only problem is I can't wear my glasses because everything reflects in my lenses, so I'm going to be taking them off and on during the duration of our chat together. Well, the good news about doing something twice is you can hone a few mistakes that you made the first time. So hopefully I can do that. Okay, so welcome. I said welcome to everyone. We're going to start with some new purchases. I haven't done a lot of shopping in the last time, in the period since the last time I made a video, but I did a little bit. Mostly the shopping I've been doing is for threads and fabrics, mostly threads for projects that I'm working on for my shop, you know, design projects I'm designing. However, and I don't remember, I had purchased this. I don't remember if I showed this in my last video, but this is Country Cottage Needleworks Somebody Loves You. And I had purchased this a while back because it's just so stinking cute. And but when I was down at Kelsey's Needlecrafts the last time, which was just a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and bought all the threads, all except Kelsey didn't have Classic Colorworks Snowball. So I still need to get that. I am going down next week to Placerville, so there you are. But here are the threads, and I just love that palette. This one right here is more brown than it's coming out. I have my new ring light set at a warm tone because it makes me look better. I don't know. Anyway, maybe if I back up a little bit and I'm not so close to the light, you can see. Anyway, so those are the pretty colors. There's 2 Weeks Dye Works, which are Mocha, that's this one, and Ivy. And then we have the DMC, which is 3864, 744, 956, and 957. And then the Classic Colorworks Snowball for this. So pretty excited about that. I also purchased some fabric. Now I need to purchase some fabric for a design that I'm going to show you in a little bit here. And I was looking for something in the gray range that would help show up, you know, wouldn't be too dark, but on which a white thread would show up pretty well. And I found this Jobelin, and it's 28 count Jobelin, and I don't know, I think if I hold it back further rather than up close, you will actually get a better idea of the color. It does have more of a green undertone to it than it's showing up in the camera, but it's 28 count Jobelin, and it's Star Sapphire, and it's very pretty, and I really like it because it can kind of go green or it can go gray. And I think I'm also going to use it on that Somebody Loves Me, and I am using it on a fall pattern that will be coming out later this summer. It's a really nice neutral. So, and it's Jobelin. I was kind of surprised. I usually like, you know, something in more natural fibers. Jobelin isn't necessarily a natural fiber. I really like Monaco and Lugana, which are more natural fibers, and I like raw cashel linen. But this was just, it was just the right color is why I chose it. So, and it's Jobelin. I haven't always been a big fan of Jobelin, but I like this. So, excuse me, I'm a little stuffed up. We've got things blowing around in our neck of the woods. We've been very, very warm for a couple of weeks up into the 90s, and then yesterday it dropped 15 degrees. So it's like 75, and the wind was blowing, so it felt a lot cooler. And as a result, there are things blowing all over the place. And I'm a little bit snuffly. Anyway, so that's my new purchases. That's it. That's all there is. And let's see. We'll go on to things that are nearly finished. I had hoped to have this done and finished, completely FFO'd for this video, but that didn't happen. Had a few things get in the way, but that's okay. So this is what I work on in the evenings. And this is what I've been working on. It's Red, White, and Bloom by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I'm so happy. I used all the called for colors, and I've been doing it on a coffee tea dyed Aida. I think the original count of this Aida was 14, but I think it shrunk a little bit when I coffee tea dyed it. It was very yellowed. It was an old piece of fabric that I'd gotten from my mom's stash, and it was pretty yellowed, and it wasn't like anything that I wanted to put colors on. But I thought, oh, if I go coffee tea dye this, it'll look a lot better. And I did, and I'm quite happy with it. Anyway, almost done. I'm just working on the white up that outlines the top of this whoop-de-woo, and then there's little white flowers that are sprinkled in here. I think there's probably like 6 or 7. So almost done. I might even finish it this evening. That would be so awesome. Finish stitching it, that is, this evening. That would be cool. Okay, so now for my, I'm excited about it, big news. I have a new release, and hopefully you've seen it on social media. I've posted it on Instagram and on my Facebook page, and it should be showing up. It has shown up in some online shops. I've seen it at 123 Stitch, down Sunshine Lane. I think it's at ABC if you want to shop there. And a couple other places that I can't think of off the top of my head, but here it is. It's Little Patriotic Fling. I'm going to back up. The color seems to do better if I'm a little further away from the ring light. Anyway, Little Patriotic Fling, and it goes along with my Fling series that some of you may be familiar with. In my Fling series, I have spring, summer, fall, and winter. It actually started with fall. And I just got a text from my husband. I need to check it real quick and see if it's urgent. Okay. Has to do with what's happening tomorrow. Anyhow, thank you for your patience. So I added this little patriotic fling with red, white, and blue so you can decorate for your 4th of July, Memorial Day. Well, now we're up to 4th of July. We've done Memorial Day and Flag Day, and now we're at 4th of July. So there you go. You can find it. Hold on. I wanted to show you the card. Where did the cards go? There they are. You can find it also as a instant PDF download. So if you want it now, today, you can go to my Etsy shop, which will be linked below, and you can do an instant PDF download and get it. Okay? But here's what the card looks like. We'll back that up. And real clear, simple pattern on the back with all your called for threads. 3 DMC threads, 498, 823, 3820, and a Classic Colorworks Magnolia Blossom, but you can switch that out for, pardon me, can't read the print, that's too small. DMC 746, that would be the white on there. So anyway, there you go. Now I finished this. You'll see the fabric is a patriotic fabric. Unfortunately, I don't think you can get this fabric anymore. I pulled this out of some stuff I found in my mom's stash, and this is sort of what it looked like when it came. So you had some different reds and blues and stripes and dots, and then you had the flags. And this is the one I used right here, this red one right here. So I just made a little pillow out of it, like I've been doing with all the little flings, because you know you can fling them. That's the idea. I don't know. That's how my brain works sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, and then along with that, so this, if you want to go down to your local brick and mortar LNS and say, I want Luhu Stitches Little Patriotic Fling, and your LNS doesn't carry it or doesn't have it in the shop, say to them, well, her patterns are distributed through Yarntree or Hoffman Distributing, so you can tell them that. So anyway. The other 2 patterns that I have available have been in my Etsy shop as instant downloads for a long time, and I decided it was time that they had their own hard copies. And the first one is called Be Joyful. Has some modern blue and green flowers on it, kind of funky looking. This, not really a series, but these 2 patterns, and there's a third one bubbling in my brain. Just harken back to my youth. I'm a kid of the 70s, was exposed to a lot of mid-century modern design, and this is sort of like that. And I'm going to try and get close so that you can sort of see what the flowers look like. On the pillow is the verse, Romans 12:12, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Now you could do this without the verse if you're not inclined to have a verse on your stitching, or you could change the verse out if you wanted. So the other pattern is Modern Flower Alphabet. These are pink and orange flowers with green leaves, of course, done with a modern sort of alphabet that you might find on some 50s sort of something, mid-century thing. I had a lot of fun with these. So these 2 color combinations are among my favorite from that period of time, blue and green and pink and orange. And for some reason they just resonate with me from my childhood. So those of you who grew up during that period, I think you'll understand. Now, hang on, I have something else exciting about this toward the end of the video, okay? Now, the other kind of fun and exciting thing that's been happening in the Luhu Stitches world is that this month it is the Just Cross Stitch August issue, they have a ornament preview in there, and they choose 9 ornaments to be in here, and one of my ornaments is a part of the preview. So I will show you. So there, this one right here, that's mine. I will try and get it. I'm trying to see over myself. So it's the candy cane with the bow and the holly berries. Anyway, it's in this month's, or the most recent issue. I think it's called the August issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine. Has Arlene Cohen's beautiful, I think that's kind of it reminds me of white work, sort of, or black work, but it's cross stitches on blue. Isn't that gorgeous? That's hers on the cover. The mate to my little ornament will be in the Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament Edition, which I'm not really sure when that comes out. They don't really tell us that. However, I think it's maybe the end of August, beginning of September. I don't know. They'll send me something in the mail and I'll be able to tell you about it, okay? Anyway, here I'm not going to do a flip through, but here are some of the other patterns that are in, of course, all the 9 ornaments. And this is also that blue one, which you can't really see, is Arlene Cohen of ABC Designs. I really like this lemonade one, which I think might be Doreen Jones, but I'm not positive about that. Anyway, some cute stuff. I like this right here, and this is really cute. This is a series of cottages. I don't know if you can see that. And they just have the first cottage, or first 2 cottages. I think there's 6 cottages, and they just have the first 2 in this issue. So anyway, go look for your Just Cross Stitch magazine, August edition. You'll find something from Luhu Stitches in there. Okay, that's pretty much. Oh no, no. So the title of this Flosstube is "Fear Not the Fractional." And that's because I thought I would go over how to read fractional stitches on your pattern. So back in the early days when I first started cross stitching almost 30 years ago, fractional stitches were a part of any more advanced piece that you did. So if you go back and look at old issues of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, or Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine, a lot of the patterns have fractional stitches. And if you're designing anything kind of round or curvy, it's the best way to get that feel, because cross stitch is essentially a pixelated picture done in thread. So if I want my birds to look bird-like, I might need a fractional stitch to help that along. So I do occasionally put fractional stitches in my patterns. I try not to make it too overwhelming, but sometimes the design just forces me to. So even in my Luhu birds, his little beak has a couple of fractional stitches. So I'm going to try and do this without my glasses, by the way. I have a whiteboard here. I'm going to sit back here and hold this up. I'm going to try and do it without glare. I think if I do that, all right, I need my blue pen and my purple pen. And here we go. So first thing, I'm going to draw a hash tag. And what this represents is sort of your cloth, okay? This represents your cloth. Let's see. This is more comfortable for me. So these are your threads, these lines that are crossing, and these are your holes. Now obviously your holes generally are smaller than your threads, but for our purposes they're bigger. All right, typically when you stitch, you go from one corner up to the next corner like that. and then you come down to this corner and go up like this, or whatever is most comfortable for you. Lots of people have different ways of doing it. If you're stitching on even weave, typically people stitch 2 over 2, but a lot of people stitch 1 over 1, which means they'll be stitching their little cross stitches over like that. Now, in the case of fractional stitches, you may be doing a part of a full stitch, and on one leg you'll be doing a full stitch on one leg and only part of a stitch on the other leg. Okay, so for instance, in a 3/4 stitch, you may start down here and just go up to this hole right here, and then come down here and go like that. I hope you can, sorry, I'm trying to keep the glare of the lights. And that would be your 3/4 stitch. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to bring a paper towel over here, so I'm just using my hand, and I have to keep redrawing the fabric. All right. Now, if you're doing a 1/4 stitch, you're just going to go like that. That's a 1/4 stitch. I wouldn't say there's any true half stitches. It's either 3/4 or 1/4. Now, I'm sure somebody out there will tell me no. And if so, I'm fine with that. But that's typically, in my experience, and when I'm designing, that is typically what it ends up being. So then you need to decide if you have, now I'm switching, and we're looking at a pattern. If I can get my pen to work. My pen's running out. Let me try a different pen here. Let's hope this one works. Ooh, yes. Woohoo! Okay, we're going to green now. So you're looking at your pattern, and your pattern looks like this. There's a symbol here and a symbol here. And you're like, well, what does that mean? What do I do? Hopefully there's some clues in the instructions from the designer. I try to do that. Like, for instance, in Luhu stitches, or Luhu bird, let me just show you real quickly. In Luhu bird, on his nose, there are, and it's hard to, I don't know if I can get close enough. You'll see there is a fractional stitch. And what I did with that is the orange is a 3/4 stitch. So pretend that's the orange. So when I do that, a 3/4 stitch means the orange is going to be the predominant color in that square. The yellow, oops, will just be a 1/4 stitch. Sorry, Luhu fell over. We're going to put him down there. Will be a 1/4 stitch. You have to really look, and hopefully you have a decent picture, and I am working on better pictures for my products, and kind of see what the shape is that you really want to represent. So in the case of little Luhu bird here, which by the way is a hard copy and a PDF, in the case of little Luhu bird here, let's see if I can point this out. I want to get that beak shape. So I made this stitch right here, just the one, a 3/4 stitch in orange. And then the 1/4 stitch is the light yellow. So hopefully that made sense. If not, ask me questions. And I would like to help clarify that. I don't want anyone to be afraid of stitching something. And I do try to give instructions. If I've got fractional stitches, I try to indicate in the pattern what is a 3/4 stitch and what is a 1/4 stitch. Now, sometimes there will be back stitching to indicate a shape, and the back stitching may be more of an outline like black or a dark gray, in which case I'm doing this and then touching stitching. I'm not sure that's a good thing. In which case you might have your 1/4 stitch here and your 1/4 stitch here. Actually, be more like that. And then your back stitching would come through like this. Okay, so this might be blue and this might be green. And this is a black thread running through that way. I'm sorry about the glare. Does that make sense? So it might be a way. Don't worry. Usually, hopefully on your pattern, it will indicate how you don't have bare stitching. So I confused my mom one time. So that's why I'm like, now I try to explain it. And I thought, that's here on Flosstube, that's a good place to try and explain that. So part of my reason for sharing that right now is I have 3 new patterns coming up. 2 are Christmas patterns and 1 is a fall kind of Halloween pattern. And I'm going to share my fall pattern first. And I'm just going to show, because they aren't ready, completely ready, I'm just going to show quick. So this is like preview, a little sneak peek. Okay, so just one quick onesie. All right, there you go. So those are little candy corns. There are little buttons on each corner of the frame, and there are some fractional stitches in that. So, but I will be indicating what those are. The fanciest I have gotten with stitches are fractional stitches, back stitching, and French knots. I don't know if I'll get any fancier than that, but for now, that's as fancy as I am. Okay, the next 2 are Christmas ones. And here is, I'm calling this one Little House in the Snow. And there you go. So it'll be coming out. So Priscilla and Chelsea are doing Jolly July to do a bunch of ornament stitching. This would be a good ornament piece, especially if you stitch on smaller than 28 count. I made it a lid to a tin, but it could easily have been an ornament. Okay, the next one, no fractional stitches in the next one. It will come with a full alphabet, but I have only made it to say Merry Christmas. And I'm calling this Merry Folk Art. So hopefully you got a good enough look at that to be excited. It will come with a full alphabet, so you can write whatever you want with your heart on there. Of course, it will come with suggested colors, but feel free to switch colors out. So those should be coming. The Christmas ones will be coming out at the beginning of July, and the candy corn will be coming out with at the end of July, hopefully with another pattern that I'm working on that is fall themed, and my Boo pattern, which you can go and look at in my Etsy shop right now. If you, well, hang out until I'm done and then go look. Anyway, links will be below. So I showed you Luhu stitches. He's also available in my shop, and I think that's it for shop news. Thanks for sitting with me through that. I appreciate it. So my last little thing is finds from Mom. So I've been listening to a couple, I've been listening to Fiber Talk, and Gary was talking, I think with Vanna, and and Arlene Cohen about sulky threads and how would you use those. I think there was someone else he was talking to about sulky threads. And Kathy Haberman has a couple of kits where she uses sulky threads, and I am planning on getting the cute little bunny butt one. But in going through my mom's things, so this is kind of like my finds from mom, I discovered my mother had purchased some sulkies. Now my mom was a quilter, and sulkies have been around for a long time in the quilting world. And I think it's used for actual quilting, but she bought a really nice palette of sulky threads. Kind of had to convince my sister that I should have them. She was a little bit skeptical about giving them to me, but I'm like, hey, it's a thing, I need them. So yeah, I need them. So finds from mom, sulky threads. So I'm going to purchase the bunny butts from Kathy and do my own, test out using the threads with that, something that's already been designed. So I'm not thinking about the design and then trying this new thread. And then I suspect in the back of my brain somewhere there's brewing a pattern that's going to use sulky threads. Just a little heads up in case you're interested. So I showed you the 3 patterns. This is the fun part of the video. I want to, here, sorry. 3 people will be getting one of these each in the mail. So 3 people. So I'm giving each of these away, not as a package. 3 different people will get. Somebody will get this one, and somebody will get this one, and somebody will get this one. Anyway, so in the comments below, do not say giveaway. You need to be 18 or have permission from your mom or dad. I don't know why that would matter in this case, but anyway. Well, because you're going to be giving your address away. That's why. Anyhow, so the question I would like you to answer is, well, first of all, in the comments, let me know which one you want. Little Patriotic Fling, Modern Alphabet, or Be Joyful. And then let me know what, if you've ever tried specialty threads or fancy floss. And if so, which brand do you like? Do you like Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works? Don't really care. Have you ever tried sulkies? Do you like sulkies? Let the discussion begin. Just checking my notes here. So that is up. So hopefully, I'm averaging about 6 weeks between videos here, but I will try to get something done by the end of July, because I'll have my fall patterns that I'll want you to see. So by the end of July, we'll be pulling winners out of the hat. So you'll need to come back and check to see if you won. Okay, because I'm not going to track you down. I haven't done a giveaway for a really long time, because the last time I did one, the people never got back to me. So, but don't mention that it's a giveaway, because we want people who actually want to stitch to get the patterns. Okay, quick life update. And if you're not interested in my life, that's okay. You can say goodbye now if you'd like, or you can stick around. So been very busy around here. At the end of May, we went to Disneyland. 3 days, the week before Memorial Day, we went down to Disneyland and walked about 25 miles in 3 days, and it was exhausting and fun, and we got rained on. So on Wednesday, we were there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Wednesday, they had thunder and lightning and hard rain, and they shut down every ride in both parks. So, in Disneyland and in California Adventure. So, we, along with I don't know how many other people, crammed ourselves into the Starbucks in California Adventure and waited out the storm. And it was fun. We still had a great time. We were a little soggy, but we had fun. And then we came home, and the next week my daughter graduated from high school, and 12 hours later she was engaged. So we are now in the midst of wedding planning. She starts university in the fall, and then she and her fiance are getting married in December, and she is going to finish her education, for any of you who are concerned. But so we have just lots of exciting things happening. My older son is going to be editing this video, maybe my future videos. So it's really nice to have him around. He's a little more adept at this sort of thing than I am. My younger daughter is just hanging out, and she's painting her room and redecorating her room this summer, and then she has camp. And my husband and I are just trying to keep up. It's kind of exhausting. So between wedding planning, I hope to be producing lots of patterns for you to stitch with, and that's kind of the summation of my life right now. It's just keeping up with my kids. And I want to thank you for coming by and listening to me jabber on today, and I hope that participate in the giveaway. Subscribe if you would like. Thumbs up if you would like. Comment below. I love comments. I've met so many lovely people that way. And in the meantime, until we meet again, happy stitching.